Good evening, everybody, and I'm happy to be back with my new video on wisdom from the world of Lord Shri Krishna for a post-pandemic world. Now, one of the qualities of our existence in the present has a lot to do with how quickly people are facing karmic consequences. So anything that you do that's positive comes back in multiples as positive. So it's like pay it forward, which has now become a very popular way of acting as well. Like people just pay things forward, just do random acts of goodness because the universe will pay it forward. You know, you do this to someone, someone does it to someone else, and it creates a very positive domino effect. But I believe in the older eras, karmas would build up for some time before you would actually see the outcome of those karmas. So today what we'll focus on is the power of singular karmas that can be so powerful that they can actually cancel previous karmas that were actually of a very high quality. So say you've been generous all your life, you've been doing good things all your life, you've been giving, you've been loving, but you take one action that is misjudged, and that has a deep karmic footprint for you, and you could be reversing all the good that you have done prior to that. So I'll read to you the excerpt from the Mahabharata where this particular failure of judgment happened, and Krishna explained to Rukmini why certain great souls had to lose their lives on the battle of Kurukshetra. Now if you remember the battle of Kurukshetra, the most tragic and the most anti-feminist part of that narrative was when Draupadi was dragged in by her hair into the court of the Kurus, the Kuru family, and she was systematically disrobed by a very lusty Duryodhana. One of the things that Krishna teaches is that one of the fastest ways to fall in your spiritual life is to do apman or to disrobe and disrespect or abuse a woman in any way. Because he said a woman is Aradhya. Aradhya means that she is meant to be adored. And a woman is Janani. She is the giver of new life, the bringer of new life into the world. So any act of harm, even in intent, even in thought, bears a consequence if it's against a woman of character. So today we're going to understand a little more about the harm that one can do to one's own karmic journey, to one's own spiritual journey, if one is not mindful about this. And how you treat the woman in your life is very key in Krishna's world. During the pandemic, we have witnessed an increase of domestic violence, both mental violence, physical violence against women at home. And one of my very dear acquaintances from my days at Hello Magazine, Kulsum Shada Wahab, has been dedicating a lot of time to dealing with the shadow pandemic. She calls this the shadow pandemic because this has been sadly the consequence of men being home long hours and full days, very often drinking or not letting a woman go about her daily chores in peace, and manipulating what they want to see on television, and the woman saying, but that's pornography and there are children at home, what are you watching in broad daylight? So there were a lot of these issues when I was writing my book Mind the Gap, that insights that I got into how dysfunctional the family had become during the pandemic. So let's start with the Krishna story. This has been shared by Sunanda Shetty. This is Shilpa Shetty's mother, on a post, and I happened to come across it, and it's very relevant to the topic. When Lord Krishna returned home after the battle of the Mahabharata, his wife Rukmini confronted him. How could you be party to the killing of Guru Dronacharya and Bhishma Pitama, who were such righteous people and had a lifetime of righteousness behind them? Initially, Lord Krishna avoided her questions, but when she did not relent, he replied, no doubt they had a lifetime of righteousness behind them, but they both had committed one single sin that destroyed all their lifetime of righteousness. And Rukmani asked, "And what was that sin?" And Lord Krishna replied, "They were both present in the court when a lady, Draupadi, was being disrobed, and being elders, they had the authority to stop it, but they did not. The single crime is enough to destroy all righteousness of this world. This single crime of disrobing a woman of honor, and that too she was from a royal family, she was raised in a certain way, she was a princess, she was an educated woman, and this propelled her to ask people in the court that if you are the scholars, the intellectuals, the gurus of our society, and you have allowed for this to happen." And of course, Krishna saves her by making sure that there is so much fabric around her that these Kauravas would keep dragging her sari, keep dragging. She kept turning and saying, "Hey Krishna, hey Krishna, hey Krishna." And that sari just never would stop unraveling until a mighty warrior like Duryodhana was humiliated and fell to the ground. And she was not disrobable because she was Krishna's Sakhi. So, and I believe they were cousins as well. So, the sin that they committed by trying to disrobe a woman, humiliate a woman, it only backfired on them, to the point where each one of them died a gruesome death on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And Bhishma Pitama, we know, was so righteous that he even sacrificed his own personal life to make his father happy. His father fell in love with a fisherwoman. The fisherwoman's father said that, "You know what, I don't want my daughter's son to be third in line to the throne. So you have to promise that you will not have a succession, okay, that your son Bhishma will not inherit the throne, that you will make my daughter's son the next king in line." And Bhishma took a vow of celibacy, which for a man is a massive commitment. And this noble man who kept his father's word, who made that sacrifice, this noble man was killed because he didn't stop the humiliation of Draupadi in court. So Lord Krishna said, Rukmini asked, "But what about Karna?" Karna was the son of Surya and Kunti, and he had been set on a basket to go afloat because she was a single woman and she didn't know how she was going to own up to having a child. So Karna was born with the, I think, Kavallach or some kundalam, earrings and a bracelet that indicated that he was the son of Surya. And he was released on this basket of water. And now the Pandavas, who were his actual brothers, were to kill him because he was on the enemy side. He was on the Kaurav side. And so Rukmini said, "So Karna is known for his charity. No one went empty-handed from his doorstep. Why then did you have him killed?" And Lord Krishna said, "No doubt Karna was known for his charity. He never said no to anyone who asked him for anything. But when Abhimanyu fell after successfully fighting an army of the greatest warriors and he lay dying, he asked for water from Karna, who stood nearby. There was a puddle of clean water where Karna stood, but not wanting to annoy his friend Duryodhana, Karna did not give water to the dying man. In doing so, his charity of a lifetime was destroyed. Later in battle, it was the same puddle of water in which the wheel of his chariot got stuck and he was killed." And that is the interesting way karma works. Understanding that your one act of injustice can destroy your whole life of honesty. So understand that from these incidents. This story is a great example of karma theory in path to prosperity. So let's try and create karma with awareness. Awareness is the difference between walking with a blindfold on and keeping your spiritual senses sensitive to what you're doing. And it takes practice. It takes spiritual regular practice, and one has to eventually instinctively listen to one's heart. about whether a particular thought, word, or deed is going to make you go sink deeper into the cesspool of deep entrenched karmas that you then have to rework through and be born again and again and again in different cycles of life, or whether you can make wise choices, control even the thoughts, never have negative thoughts if possible about anyone, and work towards positive thought, action, word, deed. And at all times be sensitive to the divine spirit in the person next to you who may be suffering, who may be unhappy, who may be pained by something you have done. Find ways to make reparations. And on that note, I end today's little excursion into the world of Lord Shri Krishna. I hope you enjoyed this episode.